Welcome again, Pat. I gather you
Hello, Jude.
worked hard this morning, so we're going to work you harder this afternoon. I want to talk about, well, who else? Dominic Cummiings. Dominic Cummiings is in every front page for making this trip up to Durham because he said he wanted to pass over his children to his parents to look after since him and the wife were affected. And there's also stories about, but this is totally contrary to what the government had themselves urged people to do, not to make these journeys. And there's also claims that he made a second journey and that he was visiting places like a local castle. So that he, and this has been met with a stern rebuttal by Johnson saying he hasn't done anything wrong.
No.
So where are we in Trump land, do you think? Yeah, Pat.
Absolutely. They haven't denied either that he made a second trip. So I presume he has made the second trip, and they are not denying it because if he stopped off at a petrol station or a fuel station or a cafe to get a cup of coffee, then I presume they're waiting for some sort of video evidence to be shown. So it looks like he's done 2 trips. And the thing about it, I think, Jude, the arrogance of Cummiings is really annoying people. As almost supercilious attitude towards the press. Like the little people obey the rules. People like me don't. And I think as well, the absolute ridiculous justification yesterday by Boris Johnson was pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. If a woman who was the medical officer in Scotland had to resign on a much less pretext than Cummiings. Cummiings is the guy apparently who nearly wrote the whole government approach, and so he's right up there as a key decision maker. And it looks like he's just getting away with it. And by the way, here, Jude, sorry, one final thing I'll say about it. Yesterday, myself and my wife went down to Buncrana, down to a local supermarket. On the way down, the number of Northern registered cars was phenomenal. And I presume a hell of a lot of people are saying, if these things don't apply to Dominic Cummiings, why the hell should it apply to us? So I'd say a lot of people yesterday, it was a nice day, and you just said, wait a minute, these people aren't obeying the rules, so why should we? And so the whole obviously the obeyance of the rules now, I'd say, is going to just fall into disrepute.
Well, it's not doing it any good. However, can I be the devil's advocate for a few moments? Like, the fact of the matter is, Dominic Cummiings has got a face that's very easy to dislike. You know?
You never tire slapping.
He could not warm to the man because he has his face. Now, that's unfair because people have no choice by how they look, you know, any more than I have no choice between the amount of hair I have and the amount of hair you have. So we need to watch it, I think. The other thing is, he did say that he was bringing the kids up he made that journey so he could hand over his kids to his grandparents. Now, that might have been a bad judgment, but you would assume that, like any father or any parent, he would have love of his children. So, but they do tend to blank those out. I'm not saying that Cummiings doesn't deserve to be fired, but I'm just saying when we land on guys like these, when we catch them doing something bad, we feed into it this kind of, to be honest, prejudice about how they look, the way they dress, and also, as you say, the kind of arrogance that we detect coming from them. Maybe that's a bit unfair. Maybe we should be pulling back a bit from that.
No, Jude, I don't buy that at all. Not at all. It's got nothing to do with bias against. There are plenty of other people.
It's easy to hate.
Oh yeah, I had a former colleague who used to say of a certain politician, he had a face you'd never tire slapping. You know, well, no, but what Cummiings done, Jude, no. See what the point you're making? I disagree with it totally. There are a lot of frontline medical people who haven't seen their kids or their parents or their siblings. There are many people who weren't even with the person they loved most on earth when they died. There have been numerous frontline staff dying because of COVID-19. Those people did try to do the right thing and not spread this disease or this infection or this virus. They all played by the rules. Cummiings his wife had COVID-19. He was displaying symptoms of COVID-19. He drove 250 miles. Now, did he get did he stop off at a cafe? Did he get it? Like, how many other people did he infect? We don't know. And yet, you know, the arrogance that he was going to leave his children. What about other people's children? You know, there were plenty of. I was sometime there. I was reading about a nurse. She hasn't been able to go into the same house as her kids for something like 6 to 8 weeks.
You don't think we bit of Schadenfreude about it? You know, we're really glad to see this guy getting it because we were dying to see him brought down a peg or two. So we leap onto it for that reason.
Yeah, but there's a certain element of that. But there's you know, it's much bigger than that. You can see the arrogance of the man, and he's dealing with the media. Like, you know, get away from my door, and you know, and he's got this some sort of diary thing in front of him. And honest to say, no, there wasn't. You know, there's almost this thing that there's an elite in Britain, that there are the little people, and then there's the elite, and it's coming across. I think that is what has so annoyed people. There's an arrogance there that it's something that everyone else, the government put out the rules, and the very people who should have been the paragons, who should have been the role models, they just said, we just do whatever we want.
But you remember the time when Jeremy Corbyn was being hounded by the media? You know, did we? I felt at that time that I detested the media. I really felt they were almost literally hounding him and trying. Yeah,
but hold on, there's a big difference. Corbyn was doing very little wrong. All Corbyn was he was the leader of the opposition, and because he had a certain attitude on certain or ideological position, nobody can. Corbyn wasn't having an affair with anybody. He wasn't putting anybody's life in danger. He wasn't spreading a virus. All he had was the leader of opposition. Here is something, a guy who allegedly had the symptoms of COVID-19, drove 250 miles up and done it, and it was seen in a park something like 10 days later when he said he was self-isolated. No, he wasn't.
Okay, I'll ask you a quick question because I want to broaden this out over the remaining 3 minutes or so. Do you think Dominic Cummiings is going to be fired?
Nope.
No. Do you think he's going to resign?
Nope.
No, I would agree with you completely. I don't think there's a chance that's going to happen.
Not at all.
I think that's the most dangerous part of it all, because the facts, as you say, are stacked clearly against him. He's broken the rules that they set up themselves, and yet Boris Johnson's coming out the steps of 10 Downing Street and saying, no, he's acted legally, and he's a decent man, he's looking after his children. That's very commendable. Let me broaden it out a wee bit. We're talking here about something that's going on in England, in London. Now, Patrick Tobin, the Into TD, tweeted yesterday or the day before that why is it that we're fixated with what's going on in England? I mean, are we not supposed to be looking at our own situation? I find I do that a lot myself. I tend to look to London. I find myself writing in a blog, the government, and then I suddenly realised, well, actually, it's the British government I'm talking about. And when I was teaching and doing little media studies with the students, student teachers, when I would say, let's have a look at some tabloids, they would automatically go to English tabloids. Or I'd say broadsheets, they'd automatically go to Observer or The Times. So it's almost as if the stuff we have here isn't good enough to be talked about even. What do you think?
But Jude, here there's a big difference. If we had a presence, say we owned Yorkshire, we Irish, the Brits claim part of our but the Brits claim a part of our island. What they do directly influences what happens on this island. They have been here. But hold on, they've been here for 800 years, and the decisions they make. Like, just getting back to the thing I said to you about Dominic Cummiings. 2 weeks ago, we went down on a Sunday, and there was next to no cars on the road. Very few northern cars. Everybody was obeying the rules. I take it what happened on Saturday when that story broke about Cummiings. A lot of people just said, "To hell with it." So what happens in Britain does affect us, because they claim jurisdiction to part of this island, which affects our lifestyle, be it Brexit, be it COVID-19, be it imports, exports, all the rest of it. You can think anything you want, keep going, because I know we're limited in conversation. But if we own part of Britain, they'd be a lot more interested in us.
All right, I think that is a point, all right. But let me ask you this. Do you watch mainly RTE television, or do you watch mainly other like Sky or BBC?
On the evening, I watch RT. On the morning, I watch Sky.
Overall, overall, you watch
Overall,
BBC,
no, overall, probably the.
Irish
No,
TV
I get where
overall?
you're coming from. When I was editor of the Jerry Journal, and we were, I was working in the occupied territories. uh, I watch British television all the time because that's where it was all happening. That's where it was. Nowadays, when I hear Jude,
Your frozen pad.
no, I'd say more so RT. No,
Well, I've mixed feelings on this, you know, because I always think back to when we were kids playing cowboys and Indians in the schoolyard. What were we doing that for? You know, that was it. We were pretending we're little Americans, you know, the history of America. And I didn't know even the history of, you know, the legendary past of Ireland. So I think in all sorts of ways we tend to be more interested in and find more glamorous other countries, including Britain. And the last thing I'd say in it is this: part of the reason we do that, I would do that, is the fact of the matter, BBC's a far better quality of television than is RTE. And you see that very often in the pale imitations of programs that RTE comes up with, and it's cringe making. It's a terrible pity that Irish media couldn't be really sort of original rather than always looking across the water.
Jude, there's a thing, I think the term is cultural imperialism. And I remember watching, I saw a photograph years ago, and I can't remember where it was in. It was about media, culture, and society. But there was a photograph of about 10 wee African kids sitting under a tree with a hooked up television. Guess what they were watching? Dallas. You know, a lifestyle so far away from what they experienced. You know, so cultural imperialism. Why were we playing? Why did we want to be Roy Rogers and the Lone Ranger when we were young? Because that was the diet we were fed.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there, Pat, because nobody watches this. We'll be talking a lot.
Okay, Jude.
We'll talk whenever I switch off.
Great talking to you.